Welcome to Sports Talk Coast to Coast. Anyway, I guess we'll start in the NFL. Got a few things here. Let's talk about Deebo Samuels. OJ, do you think he's going to show up?
I don't know. He doesn't want that running back slash role that he had last year. He want to be treated as a receiver. I don't even think they can work something out unless that's what's going to happen.
Garoppolo, I don't know. He just had shoulder surgery, so who's even gonna want to trade for him? So we don't know how he's gonna be. According to OJ, he sucked before the surgery, so who knows what he's gonna be after the surgery? So
I didn't say he sucked. He just disappoints you at the wrong time. He comes up short when you need him most.
All right, OJ. I'm about tired of you bashing these winners. So, if you had the choice between Garoppolo and Goff, who are you picking?
Between Garoppolo and Goff?
Yep.
Oh, Garoppolo. Goff sucks.
But he made it. I can't say nothing.
Come on, man.
I'm not gonna give him a pass.
Didn't Garoppolo make it to a Super Bowl too? So they both made the Super Bowl. They just didn't win. So that's not good enough for you.
Yeah, Garoppolo could have won that Super Bowl, but he overthrew the man wide open in the end zone.
All right, what about Derrick Henry not showing up? I'm not really surprised, especially based on Eric Adrian Peterson's behavior a few years back, Tony, when he said, "I don't need to be in preseason games because I'm already a starter." Y'all remember him saying that?
I forgot all about that. I forgot about that.
He's one of the reasons why we only have 2 preseason games now.
Wow.
I mean, I can't say that I'm mad at him because, I mean, look, if I'm a senior and I'm on varsity, well, I got to show up to a captain's practice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm already on the team.
Yeah, we got a point.
I mean, it would show great leadership if I showed up, but, I mean, I don't have to.
Right.
Did Baker Mayfield show up to OTAs? He wasn't on that list, or was he?
Yeah, he was. I said that.
Okay. I'm not surprised, but, I mean, the quarterback's not showing up as...
They said they finna keep that dude.
They ain't got no choice because they don't know what's going to happen with this Deshaun Watson civil suit, so... Because correct me if I'm wrong, all the criminal ones were thrown out, right? He's just doing civil ones now, right?
I don't want to speak on it. We're not a political show, but that's all BS. I mean, they got
we ain't a political show, but it's a sports figure, so we can talk about it.
Right. I'm just saying, which side you lay on, which side you land on, but you're gonna come out again with 2 other cases. Come on, man. Texas already threw the case out. There's no evidence. There's not enough evidence. And then on top of that, these two girls came out, weren't sure about it. They were scared that they didn't want to come out right away. But
right. To me, there's too many inconsistencies. I'm not saying anybody's lying. I'm not saying that. But to me, if you're gonna accuse, accuse. If you're not, just leave it alone and go move forward.
It seems like they're all, many of the women that are accusing him were really upset that he got that contract because it's like a spit in the face. So I think that enticed other women to speak up or whatever, because he got that contract. Or, on play devil's advocate, they could be just doing that because he did get the contract. So they can get some money out of him so he can just pay him off. Hush, hush.
But wouldn't paying hush-hush money, Tony, make him look guilty?
Everybody always out for the bag, ain't they?
What'd you say, Tony?
Everybody's out for the bag, aren't you?
Right. You right about that.
I mean, think about OJ, all right? Just to switch gears, just think about the logical conclusion, all right? So he gets off.
Hold on. Let's make sure we're clear because OJ's on the show. We're talking about OJ...
OJ Simpson.
Okay, just make sure we're clear on that because OJ, we know you didn't kill nobody and drive a white Bronco. Okay.
Right. Not OJ. That's not in OJ. That's not in.
You gotta.
About the original OJ. Right. But think about it. So he got off. But what did the Goldman family do? They wanted him to go ahead and have his money, right? So they could run them pockets, and they were killing his pockets. All his Heisman trophies, all that stuff, selling off in auctions, getting all that money. So what I'm saying is that at the end of it all, I mean, obviously it was a tragic situation with a person dying, and he got off, all right, and they still were able to sue him civilly. But it always comes down to the money. If you can penalize somebody and make them hurt, the best way to make them hurt in their pockets.
If you got that much money, $230 million for 5 years, and fully guaranteed includes $44 million. You wouldn't just pay those girls each $150,000? Did you shut up, bro? It's not. To settle it out of court.
Well, part of it, you got to think about it. If he really
that would have been a smart idea.
That would have been smart. But if he really didn't do it, you probably think, I ain't trying to pay these girls off. I pay them off. Then 20 more line up.
But you paying an attorney anyway.
Yeah, and he might just be thinking about the principle of it. If he, like Tony said, everybody wants a bag. But at the same time, you don't want to say, I was guilty, so I paid him off either. He's trying to go it all the way to the end. So
that's what Michael Jackson did. And you see how that turned out. They still accused him of being gay and all that, and molesting kids and all that.
Can't win for losing.
Not guilty. Yep.
So I wouldn't pay them all. I mean, you got to clear your name,
right?
They will run your name through the mud.
Yes, they will.
Yes, they will.
Did the Heat get cold, OJ, or did the Celtics just burn them up?
No, I mean they did the best that they could. It all comes down to injuries. Everybody was hurt, and when it was all said and done, I mean it was only Jimmy Butler. I mean, what can you do? I mean, he did his best. If Bam would have showed up, then there would have been a different story. But I mean, it was just the Jimmy Butler show. I mean,
I got to tend to disagree, because if Boston hadn't let up in a couple of those games, this easily could have been a 5-game series. But I mean, of course, we don't play what ifs, but Boston was blowing y'all out in most of those games. A couple of them, they just took their foot off the gas, went cold in the second half, and allowed y'all to come back, which is what you're supposed to do when the other team thinks they have won. But if Boston had played up to their ability in all of those games, it probably wouldn't have went past 5. That's just my opinion. But again, like you said, there are some injuries that we, don't talk about. But like you said, that's part of the game. And Boston had some too, but y'all's are more significant.
When it's all said and done, it came down to Jimmy Butler making that shot, and he missed. So it is what it is.
Well, number one, that's not his shot. He should have kicked it out to somebody that is his shot. That's never been his game. Jimmy Butler is not a proficient three-point shooter. We all know that. Number two, Eric Spoelstra should know better. He's been coaching long enough to know better. He's not Steve Nash, so I'm not giving him a pass on this. He's a veteran coach. Kill game or elimination game or not, you got to give your star time to breathe. That's what Durant's problem was. That's why he had his foot on the line, because he was tired. So you don't play if you want your star to be productive in the fourth quarter. You got to give him some rest. Even Jordan didn't play 48 minutes he was never in a closeout game anyway. But you know what I'm saying. He was always winning.
Jordan.
So.
Here we go.
Don't worry, Quill. I'm not going to turn
Jordan
this into
and nobody else.
Well, to be fair, LeBron. Even in LeBron don't even play 48 minutes in closeout games. But when he came back in, he was fresh, he was ready, and he was taking fools to the hole. So, and that's a perfect example, because LeBron's had plenty of closeout games. And guess what happened? He sat for a few minutes going into the fourth quarter. When it got, touchy, he said, Coach, put me back in. He got back in there and took over the game like he's supposed to. So, Eric Spoelstra should know better. He shouldn't have made, I'm going to call it the Steve Nash mistake, and left Jimmy Butler in there for the whole game. That's just something you don't do if you want to win. You can't have your star player who's already pushing 34 in the game the whole time.
Well, then who's gonna score though? That's a problem.
But that's why you have other people on the bench. You have to have confidence in it and hope they can do it. I mean, hey, Boston did it. Tatum and Brown was on the bench for like 4 or 5 minutes in one of those games, and they ran the score up by 12 more points. So you just gotta have confidence in your bench because that's what they're there for, right? To take the load off of the starters.
Yeah, but if ain't nobody giving you nothing.
But how do you know they're not going to give you nothing if you don't give them a chance? You're only as good as your last game.
Victor Oladipo didn't do nothing. Kyle Lowry.
Oh, hold up! Didn't you say he was going to be one of the intricate pieces to make Miami beat Boston? Ain't that what you said?
That's what I said.
Man, no. Hey, look.
Bam Adebayo came up, so he played one game. That game 3. The game that Jimmy Butler got hurt in. He wanted to be all world. He got 31 points. Where was that the rest of the game?
Now. Take this on the chin because wasn't I the one that said Adebayo wasn't going to show up?
And wasn't I the one that said that Oladipo wasn't going to show up?
Hey, Oladipo had some key buckets. They just didn't win. He had 20 in game something.
And that's what ultimately killed you because Derek White and Grant Williams, bench players, gave them the efficiency that they needed. Unlike Miami's bench, didn't do that. That's what happened. Boston's bench outplayed Miami's bench. That's what it came down to. All right, we're not even going to talk about the Dallas series or the Golden State series because they just dirty man swept them. I don't even know why they won one of them games. They should just roll over and call the clean sweep. We're not even going to talk about that. The bottom line is Dallas beat a Phoenix team that is old and tired. Mm-hmm. And then, Dallas, I don't know. You don't win a Game 7 on the road and then play like crap in the next round. What did you win for?
I honestly going to have to say that Luka Doncic is, I don't know, maybe I'll regret this in 3 years. He ain't that dude. He gonna turn into James Harden. He gonna be another James Harden. He get all these buckets. He's an ISO guy. That doesn't work in this league now. You can't be an ISO dude and not. He does get his team involved somewhat, but just about the same rate as James Harden used to. It's just not enough.
You think about all the great players, the great teams, the good teams that are out there. And their main player makers, right? They have the ability to lift the player of their teammates. Why? Well, one, they set tempo and tone, and they help to produce cohesiveness. There was no cohesion in that dang series at all.
There wasn't, but I don't think it's fair to put Luka in the same category as James Harden because James Harden's a crybaby who always wants to throw a tantrum when he don't get his way.
That was afterwards, though. That was afterwards. Remember when he first got to Houston? He was that deal. He didn't cry. He could have been upset about leaving.
I guess it was later. I guess we'll see what Luka does, 5-6 years down the line. But I just wanted the opportunity to call James Harden a crybaby who throws a tantrum. So I just wouldn't stick that in.
That's true, and that's fair because he is. Well, he's a quitter.
I'm just gonna have to say that it's his fault because he's a grown man. However, it's Houston's fault for enabling him. Anything
that is true.
Wanted, they gave him. He said, "I want, freaking somebody else."
So did Brooklyn enable him also because they did the same thing ultimately?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're all complicit.
Yeah. Then nobody challenges them. Nobody says we're not going to do it this way. This is how we're going to do it. And
didn't I say that when we first started talking about this back in November when he first when he left Houston? That he was going to set a trend, and all he had to do was say, "I'm not going to play." The CBA that the NBA has in place with the owners and players right now gives the players way too much power. This CBA really needs to be revised because, like we talked about the other night, I don't remember if you were on or not, Quail, but you know how James Harden he can opt into $47 million. The owner should have a clause or a deal in that CBA where it says if the player is not performing up to their contract, they should be able to opt out. Give them half or a quarter or whatever the agreement is, and opt out and say this is what you get. Leave us, get off our court. Don't play for us no more.
Yep.
Well, you don't want that all the way just because they could just say that.
Why not?
At any point in time, though, you don't want them to say that at any point.
I'm not saying at any point. I'm not saying at any point in time. You want the numbers
to reflect.
Right. Exactly, and I want it to be like Harden. He has the last year he can opt in. Like the team should be able to say, you know what, you have one more year in your contract. We're not happy with your performance and the things that you portrayed, so we're opting out of the contract. Take this whatever they agree upon and bounce. I'm not saying any time during the contract. I'm talking about that last year, like the players do. And let's not give our boy Kawhi Leonard a pass because he did the same thing and he had no reason to. The bottom line is his teammates called him out, and to keep it PG, he cried like a little girl and said, "I want to leave because they're talking about me. Please trade me." Yeah, he did the same thing, and I don't know what went on behind the scenes. I just know what they showed me, and what San Antonio's organization shows me is no matter if they're good or bad, that's a well-run organization in a small market NBA city. Yep. So I thought that was straight up BS. The way he did that. So if we have to blame anybody, I say he started it, because after that, that's when James Harden did it in Houston. All right, we've already wasted enough time on this buster. Let's talk about the NBA Finals, which is going to contain the Golden State Warriors versus the Boston Celtics. Like OJ always says, this is going to be a series of matchups. And I personally think that Golden State doesn't match up well with Boston. I think Boston has better shooters, a little more defense. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got Steph, of course, if he shows up. And Klay Thompson, we don't know what we're going to get because he hasn't been this deep into the playoffs in 4 or 5 years. And, of course, you got Draymond in his defense. So we're going to start with you, Tony. What you think? Who's going to win in how many games?
Oh, man, this game is frustrating. Frustrating because Boston, man. I mean, God, I believe it's probably going to go 7. Might go the distance, and that's only if Boston really decides to get their head out and you know where and come to play. Because if they bring that old slot ball to a team like Golden State has a tendency of just putting teams away that decides to just languish about and not make them pay for it. Not make Golden State pay for it. So if you're not making them pay for it, they will eventually turn the heat up on you, and it can get ugly real fast. So I'm gonna say Boston in 7.
All right, OJ, what's up? You got your Golden State pick made it in. Yo, he didn't. So who you got in how many games?
Of course, I'm riding with the Warriors.
Wow.
I'm riding with the Warriors. They gonna. I can tell you what. Boston likes to start the game off fast, but then they fall off in the second half. Golden State starts out slow, but you know that third quarter, second in the second, all the third quarter, they pick it up. And that's when they bury it. So that's what I'm counting on. The Boston defensively, I mean, they're the bigger team. And they can go small with them too. So I mean, matchup wise, they can give them a go, but I still say Golden State in 7.
So Vegas got Boston by 3.5.
All right, I'm back. My bad.
Oh, go ahead. You want to go ahead, Eric?
No, I was gonna say I got Boston at 7. Yeah, I just think Cliff is right. They got more shooters. No disrespect to Steph and Klay, but Boston 7. It's gonna be close though.
Boston is 7, OJ. Get out of here, OJ.
Boston is 7.
Get out of here, man. You always going with the worst teams.
We gonna see.
But yeah, no, I have to agree with Tony on this one, just because Boston likes to not put their foot on the pedal. They got to, though. They can't. And look, as soon as they take their foot off the gas, then Golden State going up by 10, and then you got to dig yourself out of a hole. That's how that goes. You got to keep your foot on the gas with them, and you got to keep burying them until they are done, because they will come back. They always do. and you just gotta, keep holding it down. Now, like I said, Cliff, I do agree with you on that point where go. I agree that Boston is a more athletic and younger Golden State. Literally, that's what they are. But it's hard to come with the original. How Boston is ran right now is kind of how Golden State used to run. How they used to be ran, how they used to do things with Klay Thompson and Curry. So we'll see, because even the coach Kerr admitted that he stole plays from the old coach that Boston had. He stole plays from him. He said, "Yeah, I used to take plays from me. Yeah, he got a good play caller." So, people were saying how it might be funny that Boston might be running against plays that they used to run that year.
See, so he's a roster stealer and a play stealer. It's confirmed.
Any advantage?
Yep.
Yeah, anything you can do.
Be original, Carr. Anyways, we always say the best for last. That would be me. Anyways, OJ, what do you always say? Defense wins championships, and Boston's a way better defensive team than Golden State. All Golden State is the Wild Wild West. They just like to run and shoot, run and shoot, run and shoot. Now they had the advantage of the bracket. They had, Moran got hurt, although I think Golden State probably would have won that series anyway. And in the first round, they had, I can't even remember, was it Denver? And then they just had Dallas, which was probably a better matchup than what Phoenix would have been anyway, the way that they was playing. So they had the benefit of the bracket. So I'm interested to see how they're going to respond to a team like Boston that's going to be rested this time, that, can come out and play their suffocating defense, and see how Stephen Klay and Jordan Poole handles that. Draymond ain't been an offensive threat for years, so ain't nobody worried about him. He does play good. He does play decent defense, so that's one thing, and he rebounds the ball well, so we'll see.
He's an offensive liability, man. Nobody pick up on that. He's literally an offensive liability.
So
get this dude up out of here.
I'm going to give Boston, or not Boston, but I'm going to give Golden State a little bit of respect, and I'm going to call Golden State or Boston in 6. I was going to say 5, but I'll give them respect and say 6. Because I just think that Boston creates serious matchup problems for Golden State.
So you're not going 7?
No.
Because Klay Thompson is starting to fly his room.
And as I pointed out, we'll see how his legs are, because remember, he's been out for a few years with that injury, and his endurance might be a factor coming down the stretch here.
OJ, get ready to be crying, because Marcus Smart finna shut down Curry. He ain't doing nothing.
That dude only shows up every 4th game.
Marcus Smart is not.
Every 4th game, that dude shows up.
And Curry don't show up no games in the playoffs.
I was about to say, when does Curry show up in the finals?
He don't show up no games.
Everyone on our team can shoot, though. Just remember that.
Yeah, against subpar teams. You're playing against the number 1 defensive team in the NBA now. And when they played them back in December or January, whenever that was, when Marcus Smart was going for the ball, and they tried to say that was a dirty play when Steph got hurt, they won that game anyway. I mean, and it wasn't even close. But we'll see, because it's the playoffs. Yeah. This is go home. This is win or go home. So
exactly. All the marbles. Experience is on our side. Remember that.
Just remember that maybe experience is on your side, but Boston's been playing together for the last 5-6 years. This team's been together for a long time. They ain't no punks. They've been to the
waters this deep, though. They ain't never been in these waters this deep.
There's a reason why the saying defense wins championships exists. So hey, they got their work cut out for them.
OJ, back to the NFL. You too, Tony. Is Aaron Donald the best defensive player of all time? Because that's what some sportcasters are saying.
What?
That Aaron Donald is the best defensive player of all time.
All time?
I don't know about that. He's the best player of this generation.
I don't know about all time, right?
Yeah, come on, man. You got some.
Hey! Don't cut my head off. I'm just asking the question because they said
it. Whoever said it, I don't know. I mean, but hey, no.
Come on, man.
I mean Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
Before my time, but Deion Sanders.
Yeah. Ed Too Tall Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, I don't say all time.
I know they play different positions, but I'm sorry that maybe I'll get some pushback from people. Maybe everybody has an opinion, but personally, I think that Ray Lewis is the best defensive player of the millennium per se.
Really?
Because yes, I do.
Yeah, him and Henry.
Ray Lewis is that deal, as the Quail would say.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis is that man.
Ray Lewis
of his era, the 2000s.
Yeah.
But Aaron Donald's the man right now.
Right now, but Ray Lewis ain't playing. But if you compare, like I said, they play two different positions, so it's hard to.
The linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. Aaron Donald don't quarterback the defense.
All he got to do is rush the quarterback.
Yeah, but he's a defensive tackle. Defensive tackles ain't supposed to get to the quarterback. They're supposed to start the run.
Yeah, but that's it though. That's not just like you could say. I mean, usually the best offensive players that they say is QB, right?
Yeah.
They don't say running backs and stuff. Usually, that's just how it goes.
Right. That's why the running back never gets the MVP, even though Derrick Henry should have had it twice already.
Right.
So.
Well, now, back in the day, the running back was the man. It's just a different era now. It's all about throwing the ball.
Yeah, but you can't discount the fact that Ray Lewis ran that defense. I mean, he ran it well. The dude, it's basically like the defensive version of a quarterback on the team.
He used to go back and forth with Peyton Manning.
But
if it wasn't for him or Ed Reed, they wouldn't have won that championship.
Ran that Bears defense like that, though.
And on top of that, OJ, you just said that the defensive tackle is supposed to stop the run, which he does most of the time. But correct me if I'm wrong, San Francisco did not care that they still ran the ball up the middle and got positive yardage.
They did.
People ran away from Ray Lewis, not at him, away from him.
Yep.
Yep, that's true.
They didn't dare to run towards him.
No.
This man, I'm saying this man is the man because every play he's double teamed or triple teamed and he still makes.
I'm not saying that he's not a good player, OJ. I'm just not putting him above Ray Lewis. I can't do that.
Me either.
I can say he's the best right now in the NFL for the last 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 years. But if you want to go with the last 20 years, Ray Lewis all day.
Yep.
And that's your dude. So I'm surprised you ain't pushing, helping me out on this, OJ. You've been talking about him since he was at Miami.
Yeah, because I went to school with the dude. But I'm just saying.
I'm not saying Aaron Donald's not good. He probably is. He is the best player in the defensive player in the last 6 years. But
you went to school with Ray Lewis?
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he did.
Wow.
But the last 20 years, Ray Lewis, and there's a lot of people that I'm not even putting in there. I mean, you had Terrell Suggs was a great defensive player.
Right.
Terrell
Donica Sue, he's good. He's dirty and all, but that dude's good, man. He's good at his position.
Dominican Sue, yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's a dirty player, but you gotta have a little scratch in your game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Warren Sapp. He was a great defensive player.
Sapp,
yeah. Sapp, yeah.
But yeah, if we had to go top 3 right now, it'd probably be Ray Lewis, Aaron Donald, and I don't even know who I'll put in that third slot because there's a lot of runner-ups. So, but they're definitely the top 2 in the last 20 years.
I would have put Lawrence Taylor, but that's.
But I'm talking about the last 20 years. But Lawrence Taylor was a great defender, but he wasn't no Ray Lewis.
Right.
Not even close. And I watched him play, so. Mm-hmm. I watched both of them play, actually. Me and Tony both. So, I can say that.
Reggie White was a monster, too.
Yes, he was.
Don't forget about him. The minister of defense.
Yep. So, do you think that it would be in the Rams' best interest? Because they've been making all these all-season moves, OJ. And this is your team with your boy get lucky. Defense bailed me out. Matthew Stafford. Nah, but listen to what I'm saying though. The Rams, they've been making all these moves during the offseason with your boy. Get lucky, bail me out. Defense Matthew Stafford. He even got an extension. How come the number one defense of the defensive player of the last 6-7 years hasn't gotten an extension? And I will agree with this. If it wasn't for him, the Rams don't win the Super Bowl, because if he don't blow up that last play, Jamar Chase is wide open flying down the right side of the field.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, no, bro. They had just gave him a deal.
No, they didn't. He hasn't signed a new deal since 2018. I think they said this morning. His deal is 4 years old. Well, and I don't care if they signed him last year. MVP should have been of the Super Bowl, responsible for you winning the Super Bowl, helping you get to the Super Bowl. You say he's the best player in the best defensive player of all, not of all time, but of the last 20 years. Give him some more money, because he's talking about retirement.
Yeah. Yeah, but he already said he was coming back.
No, on a podcast 2 days ago, he said if he walked away tomorrow, he would not regret it.
Ooh, yeah, he's thinking about retirement. You better get a contract in his face.
Mm-hmm.
Make him change his mind.
Yep.
Because he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. He's been the defensive player of the year last 2 years. If I'm him, I don't walk away. I walk to another team and blow it in their face. That's what I do.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't want to give me the money, I'm supposed to be the man.
I'm not trying to
look. I'm not trying to nitpick.
Be a big upgrade.
But I'm sorry. I would have gave him the money before I gave it to Stafford. I don't care if the quarterback is supposed to be the leader of the team, because to me he ain't no leader. Number one. Number two, if it wasn't for Aaron Donald, he wouldn't have that ring. So that's who I give the money to.
That's true.
Yeah.
You get no argument from me. I'm a defensive guy.
He's the reason why they won that championship. He's a real big part, not the only part, but a real big part.
I'd say he's about probably 85% part, because if he's not on that defense, I think Cincinnati runs that ball down their throat and throws at will.
But Jamar Chase is that deal too. They should have. We'll see what the Bengals do next year. I hope they.
Y'all think they go back next year?
Who? I don't think either one of them make it to the Super Bowl next year.
Nah. Oh, I don't know about the Rams. Who gonna make it over the Rams?
Yeah, I was about to think who is
as long as Tom Brady is playing, I don't bet against him. Okay. If it's not
unfortunate, but you can't bet against him.
If it's not for a blown coverage, we're having a different conversation right now, because Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl. Because I'm darn sure not putting my eggs in Green Bay's basket.
Oh, heck no. I don't think Green Bay in their own basket.
I mean, let's talk about that a little bit, because I don't know if we recorded it, if we did, whatever. Who cares? He said he knew Devontae Adams wanted to leave, so he takes all the money. So they can't get nobody else. I mean, selfish or what? You want to get paid, or you want to win another championship?
Because
the money's not going to get you into the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying he'll get in the Hall of Fame, but I'm just saying you can't put yourself above Brett Favre, and y'all got the same amount of championships.
Maybe it's about the money again.
It must be.
Right.
And having his own private locker room.
Yeah, because you just sentenced your team to a life of mediocrity and at best.
Hey, do y'all think this is a shot at Tyreek Hill from Patrick Mahomes? He did a press conference last week, and he said, and I quote, "Everybody's going to get to touch the ball this year so we can run our offense efficiently."
Oh, that's fired.
Shots fired. Yep.
Because he was always clamoring for the ball. He was always clamoring for the ball. Throws the team off. You got that in your ear. Your quarterback's hearing it.
I'm not making this up. Y'all can go look it up for yourself. Patrick Mahomes said that.
I heard it.
That sounds like a statement out of annoyance.
Right.
Well, we might see some greater efficiency now.
That's what they hope. Because he used to throw.
They got Juju now
to bail him out when he couldn't nothing else to do. He just throw it deep just because he got the fastest man in the NFL on his team.
Yep.
You think Juju Smith-Schuster now?
He used to play for the Packers, didn't he?
He played for the Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers, yeah. Okay, that's a good pickup.
Right. And they got that is a good pickup. Marcus Scanlon and Josh Gordon.
Hold on, back up a second. OJ, you're telling me that you think Tyreek Hill is faster than DK Metcalf? Because I think it's pretty close.
He's faster than DK Metcalf.
I don't know about that.
These are teams I think is on the hot seat. Well, quarterbacks, I should say. Tua, he on the hot seat. Actually Tannehill should have been first on that list, but Tannehill's on the hot seat. Mister, I don't gotta teach the young boys. Yep. If Kyler Murray shows up, he's gonna be on the hot seat. I don't even know if he's gonna show up, but we haven't heard him make any noise in the last couple of months either. So maybe he's just not showing up just because it's an OTA. I think Stafford's on the hot seat too because he got that extension, and if they don't at least make the playoffs, we gave you that money for what? We're gonna see what happens next year. I'm interested, and that's another one that's on the hot seat is Russell Wilson because they gave up all that stuff to get him, and he's in Denver in a division where you already got Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and even Derek Carr, who people don't give enough credit to. That's gonna be a tight division next year.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the old NFC North.
A lot of people are sleeping on Denver's receivers because they got some bad boys now, but you just didn't really see it because who they had Drew Lock throwing to them. Come on,
OJ, you gonna get off these quarterbacks? You always blaming the quarterback like it's their fault. What about the play that's being called?
Right.
But that's why I said he's on the hot seat. You claim he got these good receivers. The pieces are in place, right? So he should win some games then, right?
I'm saying they sneaky good because people don't really. When they was in college, they were bad boys, but people don't really know what Denver has because they never had a quarterback to unlock it. Now they do. So we gonna see.
All right, I got one more note here, and then we can wrap this up. This comes coming to you, OJ, since you're so high on Golden State. If Golden State just so happens to beat the Celtics, would it be a blemish on Steph Curry's record if he doesn't have, because he doesn't yet, any finals MVPs?
Well, the first, I would say, this has been an ongoing argument for a while that Steph Curry's not the best player on his team. All he needs is that MVP, right? So all he needs to get that finals MVP because he already got it for the Western Conference Finals. So he just needs to get it for the finals, and then y'all can be quiet, right?
Number one, it ain't y'all. I just asked a question. Quit shooting the messenger.
He's projecting. Come on, O.
But it was fair for Durant to get it, but as Quayle has pointed out, and I agree with, Seth doesn't show up in the finals like he does in regular season games. He just don't.
Yeah, but to be fair, he took a back seat when Durant was there, and he didn't have to.
But that was his.
But he's got to show up. He
still didn't show up previously.
He's got to show up tomorrow. Starting tomorrow.
Before Durant got there, he was the best player, but they ended up giving it to Iguodala.
No, he wasn't. That's one thing. Iguodala was showstopper.
Nah,
Two,
and the bottom line, and I'm going to surprise a lot of people.
No. Wait, this last thing.
I was just going to point out that the MVP that was given out the year that they beat Cleveland, that should have been LeBron's, period. His best side, I guess I'll give him credit. Kyrie was hurt. Kevin Love was hurt. And they still took them fools to 6 games.
And he had the most numbers for both teams.
People need to get off this
categories.
People need to get off this high horse that the MVP needs to be on the winning team. Because LeBron should have had that. He should have had the MVP that year. Bottom line.
And Steph had a chance to win that finals against the Raptors. OJ, you can't say nothing about that. Klay Thompson went down. He had the opportunity to win that game. He missed it. He missed the shot to win the game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He don't show up.
So OJ, so you're basically saying that Steph Curry chose to take the back seat when KD got there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, if he hadn't took a back seat, you saying he would have got an MVP?
I'm saying he had the opportunity to get it. I don't know if he would have got it or not. I mean, Durant, it was the best best shooter on the team. So, I mean, it made sense to get the ball to Durant.
So you're saying that Durant's a better shooter than Steph Curry?
Yeah. Durant is the best shooter, period, of this generation.
What? Wow.
I don't say that. I mean,
hold on. Hold. I'm gonna have to go off script a little bit. Hold the hell up. Did you just say that Durant is the best shooter of this generation? That's what you just said?
That's exactly what he said.
It was a hot cut.
That's exactly what he said.
That's exactly what I said. I said, when we talk about pure shooters, we talking about that man can get a shot from anywhere on the court.
Boy, he's 7 feet, but
exactly. And he can shoot.
Anyway, anybody got anything else before we wrap this up? Besides the fact that Golden State's gonna get swept, no.
I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all.
I'm being sarcastic. I told you I'm gonna give Golden State some respect and call it 6, but I just think that Boston creates serious matchup problems for them.
No, if anybody gonna get swept, it's gonna be Golden State doing the sweeping.
Okay, now you're smoking. OJ, quit drinking that Florida water.
Come on, man.
That's what I said. They'll do a gentleman's sweep if Golden State get hot like that. But I think I said it go to 7, and since that Golden State got the home court, it's gonna be Golden State.
And what that Game 7 mean? We just beat y'all on your home floor for Game 7. So what does that mean? Yep. Boston's one of the best road teams in NBA.
With Wiggins is he takes that pressure off of Clay and Steph playing both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they had to play both ways, OJ, this series would be over. Like, it wouldn't even be a contest.
Oh yeah, it's taxing to play both ways. That's why I take my hat off to the people that do it.
Boston, both all the players on Boston play both ways.
You know, but Steph is only an offensive player. I never said that about him.
He's a defensive liability. You got Draymond as an offensive liability, and Steph as a defensive liability.
Yeah, I'm really surprised y'all when I say this. Kyrie got better defense than Steph.
Yeah.
Actually, you laugh, but he put something on Klay Thompson in that finals. That's how they won too. People underrate that. Like he was playing hard defense on Klay Thompson. Yeah. And when it came to pick up Steph Curry, he's playing hard defense on him too. When he want to do something, he can do it. He put his mind to it. He's straight, but he got to put his mind to it. You know where that goes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they shouldn't even sign him. We didn't even talk about Brooklyn? That. Yeah, Brooklyn. When Kyrie, we didn't even talk about that.
They re-signed him?
No. They
haven't re-signed him. He wants to be re-signed.
Mm-hmm. He got 1 year left, though, don't he?
I think so.
I think he got 1 year left.
I think him and Harden in the same boat. He got to either opt in or opt out.
He gonna opt in. That'd be dumb. He ain't leaving no money on the table. And we still don't know what Ben Simmons is gonna do next year. So
right.
He doesn't either.
We ain't talk about Zion either because they cleared him for all.
What's that mean, man? I don't think he's gonna.
They're talking about trading him too.
He's not gonna be able to.
Maybe it's New Orleans. Maybe they just need to move to another city because every time they get somebody, they let them go.
We're not a basketball city.
Anthony Davis, Zion, Chris Paul. It goes all the way back to Baron Davis. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
David Wesley and all those guys. PJ Brown.
Well, it's just a small market world. I mean,
I don't even want to hear that, OJ, because San Antonio is a small market, and they ain't just fine.
With Minnesota, Minnesota had that problem for a long time too.
No, Minnesota's problem is they don't want to pay nobody. It ain't got nothing to do with them keeping them. They don't want to keep them. I'm not giving Minnesota a pass on that. No, don't even put them in that market. No, They could keep people. They just choose not to. We'll come back after the finals so we can laugh at OJ and celebrate.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
First sport.
Prediction.
What'd you say, OJ?
I said I'll be the one laughing.
Mm-hmm. All right, for Sports Talk Coast to Coast. Thanks for joining us.